It's really cold outside, but that is not gonna stop me today from catching some dang fish. Well, how's it going, folks, and welcome back to TRF. My goal on this channel, as always, is to help you guys catch more fish and become better bass anglers. And I've been struggling lately to make content. I sold my boat. It got cold around here. I'm getting married in, by the time this video comes out, 16 days, so got a lot on my mind. But I'm forcing myself today to do what I did growing up bass fishing, and that is just explore around the area that I live by Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever kind of maps you want to use, and find new fishing spots. I haven't done this in, honestly, it's been a year or two since I have actually sat down, looked at a map, and said, I'm gonna go check out those 3 or 4 places and see if there are any bass. I picked a horrible day to do it. It is like 32 degrees outside. I'm only in sweatpants and 1 sweatshirt, but it is the Infinite Outdoors AFCO Rebirth. So it's definitely gonna be warm enough once I get moving around, but we're gonna strap the chest mount on. We found a few cool, look like Quarry ponds, or I honestly don't know what they are. And as always, we're gonna take you guys along with me on the journey and show you guys how I pick apart a pond based on what I see on Google Maps, and then what I see once I get to the body of water itself, and hopefully catch you guys a few fish. But I have to mention this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an awesome online web platform that allows millions of creative people to get together to enhance their creative skills. More on that to come later in the video. With that said, we're gonna put the camera back in the car, give it the old lock, and we'll see y'all on the water. So I hop up over this berm here to get to the lake that I found, and I come to see that it is like, I'm on the edge of a cliff right here. I don't know how much of this y'all can see, but like right over here is the edge of this cliff. But the lake looks beautiful. I see some grass, but I see a more open stretch over there with 2 docks. Now I'm sure this is some kind of City of Waco management lake. We're gonna see if we can sneak around this fence over here and catch ourselves some fish. And also stay safe. I don't wanna go pond exploring and die, because that would not be fun. I mean, like, I'm getting some crazy abandoned vibes from this place. Oh, I see 2 guys fishing over there. So obviously, there are fish here. We have made it down, and I noticed here, just by looking at it from above, that it had clear water. So I brought a deep dive and jerkbait because it looks like it tapers off pretty quick. I could be wrong. So the reason why I picked a jerkbait for the first lure that I try at a pond in the winter is because I kind of want to cover water. Just, that's the nature I am. I like throwing a lure that moves, but I need one that's not gonna really get in their face. I don't really want a reaction lure. I just want something that gets in their area that I can let sit there and suspend, as this jerkbait does, and hopefully that can trigger a few fish. But I kind of worked this whole, I don't know, 80-yard stretch here, 50-yard stretch with no bites yet. And also, I'm worried that my jerkbait is a little bit too deep. But we're gonna keep working our way down to this dock. And if we don't get any fish on this stretch, I mean, I would have to walk back to the car and get a drop shot or something. And I think at that point, I'd rather just go fish another pond. We'll see though. Yep, it has officially occurred to me this place is abandoned. Gee, it's creepy. Oh, hello there. This just seems like a horrible idea. These plastic boards on this dock float are like not strong, so I'm stepping on the metal board, or the metal pole on the inside of them. This is sketchy. All right, we've made it to the dock, whatever this is. Hopefully it's not pulsating with electricity or something. I'm gonna get in my car. I'm gonna go ask those guys over in that corner if there are bass in this lake, and hopefully they'll be truthful and say yes or no. And if they say yes, we're coming back here with a chatterbait, baby. Because while the water and air might be cold, it's still Texas, and you gotta keep them honest. Howdy, howdy. Hey, do y'all know if there are bass in here? Yeah. There are?
16 of them yesterday.
Really? Okay. How y'all catching them? Because I was down there at that end. I didn't catch anything. Well, very cool. Thank you guys. Okay, there are bass in this lake. The guy held up a stringer for me, and he had about 3 bass on there. So we are going to do a little circle here and go park back where I was and get myself a chatterbait. We got a drop shot, and we got a thunder cricket. We're ready to go. I doubt these bass have seen many lures actually presented in the way they're supposed to be. So let's see what we can do. Oh, no way. First cast with the chatterbait. Oh my gosh. I might have found me a new pond. That was awesome. Bring it in here, buddy. Bring it in. Let's go. Let's stinking go. So the jerkbait was just a little too deep for him, but the thunder cricket got him. Not a bad little fish. Kind of got a turquoise tint to him. Very pretty. Thank you, friend. Yes, I love that. Success, baby. And now that I know they'll bite a chatterbait, I've got tons more water to fish now. I was really worried with the jerkbait that it was a little too shallow and I couldn't cover water. But if they're biting a chatter chicken, oh. There's one. There's one on the chatterbait. Another one about the same size, I think. That one came right as I ripped it off of like 3 different pieces of grass back to back. Hey, buddy. Thank you. All right, so it's gonna be a covering water game. Not gonna be a sit in one place and pick it apart. Thanks, bud. Kerplunk. All right. Here we go. Usually make another cast to the same exact area. This pond, though, is shallower than I thought. Maybe it's, I think the water's clear. Maybe because of the cloud cover, I can't really see the depth. It's probably what it is. But I think a spinnerbait on a windy day and a chatterbait on a day like today when it's not as windy, it's gonna be killer out here. So I fished on this bank for a while, and do I think the chatterbait is really the best lure for these conditions? Oh, is that a fish? No, it's grass. Probably not. Chatterbait is probably not the best one to throw. I'd say with the slick, calm water, cold front conditions, it's probably the drop shot or maybe some sort of Texas rigged craw. Kind of a slower presentation, but it is so cold right now that I couldn't think of sitting there and just kind of shaking something. I've got to be moving both my legs and my arms, or else I'm not going to be able to stay out here. I should have worn more clothes, first of all, but you live and you learn. Or you just live and you never learn. That's usually how I do things. Is that a fish? Oh, that's a fish. That's got to be a fish. Yes, it is. Finally. Gosh, these fish are really spread out. That is not the same color fish, too. That's like a orange one. Very interesting. That fish did not hit it. It was just there. All about the same size class fish, though. So I wonder if they had a fish kill out here, or if it was recently stocked, which I doubt, because it's been, you know, years since this place was even touched. Pretty interesting. Well, I think with fish number 3, it's a good time for us to take a little break and talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform that has thousands of helpful classes from topics such as illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and tons more. It doesn't matter if you are a beginner or an expert in a subject, these classes can be incredibly helpful, and most are under 60 minutes long, which can fit into anybody's schedule. Now, hopefully you guys know at this point, but I dropped merch a few weeks ago called Infinite Outdoors, and I used a program called Adobe Illustrator to create this logo. And I learned how to use that program a little bit in college, but kind of advanced my skills by taking a class on how to better use my Illustrator skills to create logos. And the Skillshare platform has tons of other classes. I don't care if you're talking about music production, graphic design, or video production. There are tons of different things out there for you guys to learn. Now, I've got 2 pieces of good news for you guys. The first of which being that Skillshare Premium is under $10 a month. So you get unlimited learning potential, access to all the premium classes for under $10 a month. But the even better news is that the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below my link, my custom link, will get a free trial membership to Skillshare Premium. So there's nothing to lose by clicking that link. There's actually tons to gain. Tons of knowledge and skills to share. That was so cheesy. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's hop back on the water and catch some more dang fish. One thing I've noticed in all these catches is that my bite comes, if that was a bite, relatively close to shore. So I've been making all these long bombs out there in the middle, and there's really not a whole lot of grass out there in the middle. I think these bass are hanging on this grass line that's anywhere from 15 to 30 feet from the shore. So I'm not gonna make as long of casts anymore. Really focus on the areas that I'm getting bites. That's one pond mistake that I see people make, is that they're catching fish in the last third of their cast, but every single cast they keep making a full power cast, and that's just, you're wasting time at that point. Is it potentially possible to catch fish, you know, all the way out there? Yeah, it's possible, but that kind of cast is probably not worth it, at least in this situation where you don't have a whole lot of cover out there, and the bites you've been getting prove the fish are closer to the bank. Now, maybe there's fish out there, but they're just not, you know, chatterbait eaters. Maybe they eat a Cinco or a jerkbait or something more slowly presented. But I think for these fish that are closer to the bank, they want this chatterbait presented closer to the bank. Oh, it's a fish. Good grief. I was jerking into that thing like it was, oh, that's not even a bass. That's a big crappie. Wow. Sorry, buddy, I just tore a stinking hole in his mouth. That's a big old-fashioned crappie right there on the chatterbait. No wonder it did not feel like a bass, because it's not. Are you dumb? Come on, come on. There you go. Atta kid. All right, so there's crappie in here as well. Very cool, very nice. So that means that shad and bait fish imitation lures would work in this pond as well. I usually, with this type of pond, like to stick with the bluegill imitations first until I find out if there are bait fish in here. And I'm still not sure about bait fish, but at least there's crappie. So there's something white and shad looking. That was funny. I thought I was like, piece of grass, piece of grass. Oh, crappie. It's cold again. At no point did it ever stop being cold. Well, hey, you know what? I'm gonna call that a success. Even though it was only 3 bass and 1 crappie, I've made many videos with less. Well, that is gonna be it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know I'm gonna go find myself some heat, some Chick-fil-A, and probably a nice cozy blanket because I am freezing right now. But I'm very glad just personally that I was able to get over the hump of really not wanting to create content, kind of being in a slump, and just come out here, brand new place, never fished it, and actually have some success in one of the coldest days that I've fished all fall. I guess I could technically call it winter now here in Texas. We kind of skipped from an early fall to a winter bite. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more instructionals coming for you guys in the next few weeks. Probably gonna jump down to 2 videos a week instead of 3 like I have been doing for the past year, just because I have the wedding coming up and then the honeymoon after that. Probably won't have a whole lot of time to film around that timeline. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time on TRF.